All right. Welcome, everybody. I see a bunch you are on live with us. Hey, do Bobby and I a favor. Wherever you're on live from, let us know where you are in this awesome world. So I'm in New York. Bobby, where are you?
I'm in Toronto, Canada. Type in the comments, guys. Let's know where you're from. North America,
Yeah.
South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia. Even Australia, they're probably sleeping, but anywhere else, no problem.
Yeah, let's make this fun because we can see that all on our side. If you're getting this on Team Replay, let us know where you're coming in from Team Replay and then maybe give us a little replay right after that. So I see now, I'm looking over here. We are live officially. Everything's showing up on LinkedIn. So we're good. I see us on Facebook. All right. So we've done this before, Bobby, huh? But every time, right? The TEDx effect. We're seeing this more and more people getting on stages and more having an impact on their business. So for those of you who don't know, Bobby's a 5-time TEDx speaker, and I work with him, helping him design a lot of his virtual events, and we use those to really educate the marketplace on the value of TEDx. So, Bobby, why don't you just share real quick a little bit about your background and what got you here to, help people land on the stages?
Sure. So, I've been a motivational speaker for the last 20 years. I've done 1,000 keynotes workshops across 4 continents, mostly in the area initially of, soft skill leadership development. But then I became known as a networking guy. So I built a networking program and I launched a best-selling book. Then I became known for personal branding. So then I launched a personal branding course and building a brand. Then I started getting into digital influence. I started building 500,000 followers on Twitter, 70,000 on LinkedIn, became a LinkedIn top voice, built on Instagram to 40,000. And so digital influence became a big part of what I was doing. And then pretty soon I launched a speaker mastermind because people want to know, how do I do paid speaking, Bobby? And then the pandemic hit, and then I switched to more coaching, and I started coaching people on storytelling. I started coaching people on thought leadership. How do I use LinkedIn? How do I use Instagram? How do I use video? How do I use TikTok and Facebook and all those different platforms? And then someone said, hey, Bobby, why don't you do the speaker mastermind program again? Now the speaker's coming back, but put in the TEDx thing, because the thing that I don't tell people very much is I've done 5 TEDx talks. I've also had 3 TEDx talk invites that I declined for various reasons. And my 5th TEDx talk finally made the TED.com site, which is what my original goal was. And I can tell you that the first of the 5 TEDx talks I did elevated my speaking career tremendously. Number 1, my speaking fee jumped up by 2.5 times. Number 2, the number of speaking gigs that year increased by 40%. That's just from the first TEDx talk. And then number 4, I started traveling around the world. So, for me, TEDx has been a huge part of building my brand, building my thought leadership, leading to more business, more speaking gigs, and everything else. So, and that's kind of been the journey I've been on. And now what I've done is I've launched a TEDx program. We've been honing it, refining it for several years. And then about a year and a half ago, and what happened was people who follow my process landed TEDx talks. So what started happening was I started guaranteeing it. I said, look, if you do the work, I guarantee you land a TEDx talk. And what happened was people were like, Bobby, I just did what you said, and I got a TEDx talk, or I did what you said, and I got 3 paid speaking gigs. Yeah. So I started putting my money where my mouth was and put in a contract. I said, look, I will guarantee a TEDx talk as long as you do the work and follow my methodology. Some people don't do the work. Some people don't follow my methodology because they're not coachable, and that's a different story. But when they do it, they do well. And then about a year and a half ago, I reached out to Chris because we had done a bunch of 5-day challenges, like that challenge up there in the top corner. And I was like, you know what? We did some challenges. It was really interesting and fun. And you're the guy that does challenges really well, and I've got the content and the delivery. So why don't we partner up? And so that's what we did, and we partnered up, and it's been great. It's so great to see people, do the challenge, and then work with us in our larger scale programs, and then land a TEDx talk, and it's awesome. When you get that. So for me, that's what I've been doing. That's kind of where we are, and that's where we're here. That's where we're talking about TEDx, and also, we're here to answer questions. If you have questions, we can show them. If you see, if you see any questions or comments, Chris, you can put them in the feed. I'd love to see them. But put your comments, ask questions. I'm happy to answer whatever you want, but we're gonna also drill down a bit too.
Yeah, I mean, this is all for those that can attend live. So I know a lot. The streams catch up. So I've seen a bunch of people on all platforms. So yeah, definitely drop some questions. We'll make sure we address them. But let's talk about the biggest thing before we get into this, Bobby. actually you were just doing a live speaking gig last week, I think at this time, somewhere around this time, if I recall right. And, now that you're charging more for that, what would you say is the biggest hurdle for a person? Maybe it's not understanding the value of a TEDx, or is it like actually putting a TEDx together? I mean, let's talk about this a little. What do you think is the biggest hurdle for somebody starting this process?
Well, I mean, the first basic hurdle is mindset, because people don't think they deserve one, or does the story matter, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, the truth is, look, 10-year-olds have done TEDx talks. There are 18-year-olds who've done 4 TEDx talks. But you guys are my clients. My clients are the people who are seasoned professionals. They've been around a bit, and they know that they have a message for the world. They can talk to people. And so the 18-year-old was confident, and the 25-year-old was confident, and the 50-year-old is confident. And so I think for me, I'm not at the ABC of speaking, I'm at the PQRS of the journey of speaking, so to help you get that TEDx talk to, again, meet those objectives. So mindset's the first piece. After that, I think that, I think most people who try to do TEDx talks, number one, they don't know, they have trouble coming with the right topic or title. I think that's something they struggle with. Because most people have topics that are vague and don't make sense. Number two, they don't know the process, who to talk to, where do I start, how do I find TEDx events, so that process. Number three is the application. People have pitched to TEDx, they don't get in, they don't know why. That's because they don't know how to answer the questions. So, one of the things I coach people on, here are the 9 typical questions, here's the exact answer you want to share with them, and here's how you win them over. And so you want to optimize your application with a template that I created, and that's kind of part of what I do. And then I think, and then the last one, which is kind of a newer one that I'm going to bring up, it's twofold. And this is what the topic said, like the whole TEDx stuff, people don't realize how great it is if you do it right. I mean, look, you can amplify your brand with content strategy, networking, a book, a program, a TED speaking, a TEDx. But TEDx has the greatest amplification with the minimum amount of time and the shortest timeline to get there. 3 to 6, 20 to 40 hours of work, 3 to 6 months timeline, and you put that thing on stage and you amplify it. So to me, that is really fantastic. And what people don't realize, that the entire process that I'm doing with my models and everything also helps them with other things. So every single person I've been working with always has 3 objectives. One is the TEDx talk, but there's always something else. There's always something else they want to do, because they realize that the work I'm doing with the models, the life story, the process I take people through is going to help them with personal branding. Some people want a more clear personal brand. Content strategy. I want to have a stronger content strategy. Thought leadership. How to build thought leadership on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it might be. I want to get more speaking gigs. And so all the work that I'm doing with my process models helps them land the TEDx, helps them elevate those things. And that's where they should see, wow, the benefits are plenty. Like someone says, hey, I want to launch a book. Okay, great. Let's do the TEDx process. And by going through your life story and through my models, you'll have content for your book. You'll have content for your content strategy. You'll have enough information for your one-pager, for your speaker sell sheet. And we're going to land the TEDx talk. So for me, that to me is a huge piece. And sorry, there's one more. I mean, I'm giving you so much stuff here. The other one we found is accountability and focus.
Yeah.
So people, this is for anything. You're trying to lose weight. You're trying to pass that MCAT or GMAT exam. You're trying to build your business. You're trying to get a TEDx talk or do more speaking. Even back in the day when I taught people how to become paid speakers, the accountability and focus was always the hardest thing for folks. I started a 30-day health challenge today. And so staying focused and accountable has helped, because I have a community and I have a coach and I have a plan. And so, but not saying I don't fall off the wagon, I do. So for the TEDx people, same thing. The accountability and the focus thing is incredibly important and a challenge, and that's why you need a program. That's why you need coaching. That's why you need a community. That's a lot there. Sorry, lots to unpack.
No, and I mean, one of the biggest things on anything, like you said, well, the 2 biggest things was mindset. Like, hey, am I worthy enough for this? will people listen to my message? Can I land on this stage? Blah, blah, blah. But then the accountability aspect of this and anything you do, always, always, always. And that's one of the beautiful things. I know the clients you work with, you offer that accountability, and you do that nice little nudge to get them moving forward. But what people don't really realize is how much it truly can change your life. You get on this stage, right? I love some of the exercises we do where we visualize getting on the stage and what that feels like. And then what happens after you're on that stage? It's massive, what starts to really happen. But the key thing is each of us have a message within us. I call them missions that matter, right? A mission that you want to get out and speak about. And Bobby does a really great job of taking his clients and those that attend this challenge right here, which we're doing in a week and a half, through a process to really get that story out of you. And a lot of times I've seen, Bobby, somebody comes to you, here's my TEDx talk. And you're like, well, let's talk about the story that you have in your life. And then let's see what you turn around on that. I've watched so many people have what I like to call this light bulb moment. Like, I'm going to tweak this talk a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about how you dive into really getting this effect to go to the next level by really, because like what you do, yeah, you got the TEDx talk, but you got the thought leadership, the brand. And I believe a lot of that comes from your life story. So let's talk a little bit about the importance of really going through the life story.
Yeah. So in my work with helping people with personal branding, we always dive deep into their story, where they've been, where they're going, what their values are, their skills, interests, aptitudes, passions, beliefs. And so the life story model helps you with personal branding. Similarly, when you're trying to put content strategy out there or write a book, or you're trying to put, just thought leadership content out there, your life story is fodder for stories, insights, ideas. Because like, what do I post? Well, let's talk about your life story.
Yeah.
What can I share with people? And so similarly with TEDx, what happens is when we go through the life story, I'll be able to pinpoint actually dozens of TEDx talk ideas. People are always surprised, like, wow, there's dozens of TEDx. Yeah, there are. But then we bring it down to your top three by validating it, by vetting it by people and seeing which ones stick, or with what I believe, what they believe are the best ones. But that, and when you vet it by your network, and you have people saying we love this story, and my head says it's great, your heart says great, then you have confidence this TEDx idea is fantastic. And so it's a great process for all the different things that we're doing. So that's why it's so multi-purposeful in terms of helping people. And that's why, and the exercise is so great. And this exercise was done to me by a coach like a decade ago. And I was like, this is fantastic. And now all the stories I have, I use them all the time in my content and my networking and talking to people. Or the stories become part of my speeches or my keynotes or my workshops or the TEDx talks. So that's why it's so great to do that.
And I mean, stories are what relate to people, right? You hit on the emotional level. People can vision being in the situation themselves or seeing others going through that situation. And that's the key when you do a TEDx talk. You want people to feel they're part of this, that they really, really, really understand this. So, you did the whole life story process. Like how many TEDx talks, if you really looked at your life story, just going back to what you put together, how many do you think you could pull out of that life story that you built?
For me personally,
Yeah.
I'd say probably dozens. I mean, and they come up a lot. Like just yesterday, 2 days ago, I was talking to somebody about tech issues with kids, right, and smartphones. And one of the things that she's basically a better screen time business owner that talks about not giving kids screen time or technology. And I'm the same way. My kids are 14 and 16. They don't have smartphones. And I made that choice, but I'm part of the 0.1% of parents who made that choice because it's better for them in so many ways. And she and I are talking like, man, this could be a TED talk. And we're like, yeah. And then we were like, and she's like, yeah, like, dude. I was like, you know what? We should co-pitch this. Like, I'm like, this is such a big deal for me. It's one of my biggest challenges. So yeah, I think that there's lots out there. There's other ones that I want to do that are part of I have them in my back pocket for sure. So. And usually what happens too is that when you go through a life story, people think that their TEDx talk should be a life story, but it's not. The TEDx talk is a moment in time in your life story. That is an aha moment. You tell that one story. And from that, what's that lesson? It doesn't have to be your life story. It's just one moment from your life story.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much you can get out of that, and I think that's one of the most fun exercises you do in the challenge. And I saw a couple people just downloaded the QR code for our challenge. So we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get through this. I'm just going to put it up in the frontier if you want to get it in an easier spot. If you just scan right below Bobby there, you're probably seeing it right now. Just scan that QR code; it'll take you to the challenge that we're doing the week of May 12th. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through this. So you got this life story, you work with the client, you get it all set up. What's the next step? Where do they go from there? What else do they have to do?
Well, I mean, look, the process, and the process is what we do in the challenge, right? So, what I do in the challenge is I take you through the life story model, my methodology, my 5-step process, my more detailed process. How do we guarantee the result? And we kind of take you step by step on how to do that. And so my goal in the 5-day challenge is to really, number one, to get you started.
Yeah.
Because versus like taking action is the most important thing you can do. And number two is to workshop you and handhold you 10% of the way. So by the end of 5 days, you'll be 10% along the way. And now you have a good idea, and now you know what the process is, you know how to go. And there are some people who've taken that 5-day challenge and did the work that I told them to and landed TEDx talk. So that's really what the 5-day challenge is about. And so for me, like taking but again, the general gist is we have to go through your life story, extract them, then come up with the best top 3 topics. Number one, an idea based on your expertise. Another one based on your personal story, and a third one based on whatever strategically you're looking for. So, for example, if you're someone that wants to do more speaking, the third TEDx topic would be somewhere around something you want to speak about publicly. Or let's say you're more about building your business in a certain area. Then we talk about the business journey. Maybe that might be something more strategic. But we want to have 3 TEDx talks. Then we amplify the application template. We work on a video script, and then essentially show you how to find the TEDx talks and how to target them, and then how to pitch and build relationships. So that's all part of the entire process. But let me turn it back on you, Chris, since you're the challenge champion, as it says. Why are 5-day challenges so great? I mean, people are like, well, 5-day, I don't know, do I want a 5-day challenge? But what's the benefit? Why do that? Because there's lots of ways to do it. Like some people call me, some people take, my free webinars, but why the challenge? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of reasons on this. The first thing is being part of a micro community. I love that aspect because we've seen this play out in your challenge where you get an intimate group of people. See, the challenges we do don't have hundreds and hundreds of people. We have between 12 and 20, and this group just starts forming throughout the week. And Bobby talked about accountability, right? That group starts to feel accountable and part of things. But what's really good is the way we've designed this challenge, and the way I always design challenges with clients, is to have a lot of interactivity and transformation. So when you get in a challenge, you just don't show up and put your feet up and say, oh, I'm going to just learn this and never do anything. We actually put you into action modes to where we've had people literally saying, hey, I'm about to go apply for this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to do that. And I love seeing that. But, the other part is it's a fun 5 days. It goes by so fast because it's an hour a day. You get the content. You're with us. We give you some exercises, and then you do some things overnight that keep on moving you forward. So by the time Thursday comes, you're like, I went from here to here, and I'm really excited about going on to the next level. And how can I take this to the next level? So it's an awesome process for everybody, and quite frankly, it's a great process for Bobby because you get to work with Bobby, see how he works with clients, see how he coaches clients. And then you get to make the decision, should you want to, hey, there's an opportunity for me to work deeper with Bobby. And it's an opportunity because you have to decide if the opportunity is right for you where you are in life and business. So when we bring all that together, everything you're looking for, the trust factor starts to play out. Like I said, the community factor starts to play out. So that fear of missing out, right? People don't like that part of things. They want to be part of something. But then ultimately that accountability to move you forward with quite frankly, an awesome mentor. I mean, Bobby's done this so many times. He's got so many testimonials. You're in the hands of someone that knows what he's doing.
And can you tell us a bit more about why people should pay? Because I used to do free challenges.
Yep.
And I had 150 people sign up, and then 50 half showed, and by the end of it, most people weren't there, and then no one would they wouldn't do the work. So tell me a bit more about why it's a paid thing, and then what's the value they're going to get out of it, and because I think it's a huge value too.
Yeah, I mean, we charge $100 for this challenge. So you can see that right below. If you want to get in, it's the week of May 12th. We do a pre-call the Friday before. Just scan that code right there. It'll pop up and it's dropping in comments automatically now. But why paid? People pay attention to what they pay for, right? So when you show up, you want to be part of this. You want the replays if you can't be on live. So that part of things. But here's what's the most important thing. If you know what Bobby charges on a per hour basis, if you got him on a per hour basis, it's not cheap, and that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing because Bobby works with select clients. This is an opportunity to get in the realm of Bobby, his community, others who have been on that stage for a very cost-effective entry. I find $100 is a good number. It makes people think, do I really want to learn how to do this? Do I really want to start to implement this? So this is why we charge $100. I've had clients come to me that do free challenges, and you just watch this thing that I call the snowball effect. Start with a lot of people on Monday, and then it just dwindles by the end of the week, versus our challenges stay extremely consistent. If anything, people are joining us during the week because people who are in the challenge are like, you got to come in this challenge. Yeah, you can go watch the replay for Monday, but you got to see what we're doing here. So I'm a big fan of charging a little bit so people have skin in the game, and we deliver on that skin in the game. I mean, Bobby, what do you typically charge somebody for per hour basis?
Yeah, look, yeah. So I charge typically $500 an hour for consulting. So you're getting me for 1 hour each day, 5 days. Actually, there's a sixth bonus day, which is the interactive pre-call. And then there's basically, and there's replays, of course. You meet other people. I'm giving you all my content. You ask me any questions. I stay on to answer all your questions. Like, that's like a big part of it. So
Yep.
you're going to get a lot of me over those 5 days and take advantage of it and make the most of it. But yes, if you invest some money, you have more investors in doing it. And by the time you have the 10% done at the end, like, you're motivated to go, you have the plan in place. And that's why the challenge to me is such a great tool for doing so. I mean, I do a free webinar too every month, but those people come in, they consume the free stuff, and then they don't act. They listen. Oh, okay, great. And then, I really should do this. So I did it, but then nothing happens, right? The challenge to me is, like, if you click that link, that QR code, and you read everything that's there, and you see everything you're getting for $100, then you can decide if you want to do it. I mean, look, you can do it. You can put in $100 and then and take the course. In fact, you can even not do it and then just watch the replays. And to me, the value of the replays and the resource and exercise we give you is far more than anything you're ever going to get from anywhere else. So to me, it's a no-brainer whether to do the challenge live or even to buy it for the replays.
And I mean, that's the biggest thing. This is live, right? This isn't recorded. This is interactive. This is something you're actually a part of and working with others on. And that is really, really, really one of the biggest things. And I want to just share this comment because this says it all right here. That makes sense. Most people don't put effort into things that's given to them for free, a nominal fee. And exactly, nominal fee. You couldn't have said that any better, right? That's really what it is, a nominal fee to put some skin in the game. So that's really
what's interesting too, Sandy, I just want to comment to Sandy. And there's another, she says she's a voice actor. So, I also do acting and voice work. And so, there are free workshops and there's paid workshops. Which one you put more effort into and prepare for before you get there and do a lot of work afterwards and then follow up afterwards? It's the paid stuff. The free stuff, you just show up and, you do minimal work. When you pay for it, you're invested, right? Yeah. I mean, and so I think that's important. And I'll share a little funny story, which is, when I did my undergrad, my dad helped pay for it and, I had some scholarships, but, I didn't do well in school university because I think I was young and dumb and I took it for granted. When I did my MBA, and I was paying out of pocket, man, I was invested, working hard. And I remember someone asked me, Bobby, you seem so happy to be joyful to be in school. What is wrong with you? And I said, well, I choose to be here. I'm excited to be here. And I'm putting a lot of money in this, man. I want to make the most of it. And so that, of course, that was $1,000. But yeah, I was totally in. And I see that Bruce wants to know where the link is. Well, you can use a QR code, but we can put the link in later on as well. But just check it out. I think that's the main thing.
I just dropped the link in there. Bruce, you should see, I just replied to your message directly. You should see that there directly. Sorry, I muted myself because I was on LinkedIn and didn't want noise coming in the background. But also, whenever I drop, you see how below Bobby is, that QR code, that automatically supposed to drop it in there, but if you scan that, we totally can get that there. Let's see, we got some more comments here. All right. Yeah, right. Paid because you're invested and committed. Absolutely. And that's what it is. And Bruce, just so you know, you'll see this right under your name. That's if you want to screenshot that, but definitely sign up.
I see another comment from Sherry on my feed. Are you going to have a recording available later? Well, the recording of this live stream is there for you. The recording for the 5-day challenge is available for everybody. So, look, we do the 5-day challenge every 2 months. The next one's coming up May 12th to 16th. Check my profile, you'll see what's there. But there are people who, in the off month, will buy the program anyways because they want the replays. They want the replays, recordings, and they get access to all that stuff. So I've had people who do that, and that's fine too. So it's up to you how you want to do it. But yeah, so the recording is available for the people who sign up, and the recording of this replay will be available across the socials.
Yeah. All right. Great. Bruce, you got it. So we'll see you in there. You know how to find Bobby or I. We're both here on LinkedIn. Pretty easy to connect with us with any questions. Yeah. And I mean, like you said, paid, committed. And, it also, I will tell you this about Bobby. I mean, gosh, I don't know how many we've done by now. I think we stopped counting. We're well over a dozen of these probably by now. I will say this. One of the things about Bobby is he over delivers. So you can expect in that hour, your content's going to be delivered, right? You're going to get everything you need round trip in an hour if you're on live. But what happens is Bobby's really good at staying longer, and answering questions. He'll pick a couple days of the week, and, that helps a lot too, just really to get your question answered. So when you sign up for this and you're committed to this, come to play full out. I mean, seriously, those that play full out, you'll see we'll bring a couple people who have been through this challenge to talk a little bit about their experience and how they landed on stages. You'll realize those that play full out really do end up where they're looking to get there. Bobby, I can't believe it's 30 minutes already, man.
Yeah, it went by really fast. I thought, I mean, normally do 30 minutes and it's going by quickly. So
that's because you and I could just sit here and chat all day.
If people have questions, I mean, if you have questions, great. I mean, I'm happy to support you guys. But look, the key is to, click the link and just read everything that's there. And if you have any questions, you're still not sure, just ping me or Chris. We'll tell you exactly what the dealio is. Like we're not BSers. We're tough love truth tellers, and I'm kind of a tell like this kind of guy, so that's kind of how I roll. So, and I see a question already. So
yeah, I bounced it up there in front of you, kind of blocking your face right now. So read that really quick.
Yeah. All right. So the process. Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. There's TEDx talks all around the world.
There you go.
Okay. So you can switch me on.
I switched it, man.
I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. There's TEDx talks all around the world, right? So there's like 3,000 TEDx events around the world. So what's more important is you put together your 3 TEDx talks, and then based on 3 TEDx talks, then when you research TEDx events, you will see the ones that are more aligned. Because some TEDx talks have a theme. So let's see here. Like my first TEDx talk was actually the 5th TEDx talk that I did the theme was Power of Connection. I did a talk on hugs, which I had in my back pocket for years, and so I delivered it. Now it wasn't local. It was a 4-hour train ride away to Windsor, Ontario, but I went because it was an awesome talk. And that's the one that made the TED.com site. That's what I wanted, right? So, for the most part, you should, well, once you have your 3 TEDx ideas that are validated and supported by everybody and get your confidence, and you put together a fully fleshed out application template, it's very easy to find a TEDx event and just start applying to them. And so even in your province or state or local area, there can be many. And I know here in Southern Ontario and Toronto, there are at least 30 TEDx Talks events. There's a lot, right? So that's kind of what you want to do. Hope that helps.
All right, Bobby. I think we're on the half-hour mark here. I mean, a little bit past here. So if you want to close this out, but those that are going to attend, we also do, and I guess it's next Friday already, Cheapers. We do a pre-challenge call. So that gets you'll see where all the content is all the week. We bring you into community page. We help get you set up. But we also want you all to introduce yourself, because here's what happens in the challenge. People get really, really intimate and share their stories. So we like people to feel comfortable in that environment. So if you can make it next Friday, this challenge goes from 11:30 a.m. Eastern to 12:30 p.m. Eastern every day. Even though it's the week of May 12th, we do get together the Friday before, and that varies. Sometimes it's a half hour. Sometimes it's 45 minutes. Sometimes there's a lot of questions, and we're there for quite some time, but I want to make sure that you all know that. So, Bobby, I'll let you close this out. I'll keep myself hidden behind the comment here, but you can close this out.
Sure. Yeah, so I'll say, first off, every single one of you has a story that will inspire people. TEDx is about ideas that inspire people, and the theme is, it used to be ideas worth spreading, then it became ideas that change lives. Now it's ideas change everything. So you have ideas and stories that will help people, that will inspire people. Anyone can do a TEDx talk with the right story, the right idea. In fact, you have many stories and ideas that we could probably put together for a TEDx talk. I think that's incredibly important to understand. So, but if you and the benefits of TEDx are tremendous. It's the greatest. It's the greatest thought leadership brand builder because it's the least amount of time invested, the shortest timeline for the greatest amplification. Right? When you launch a book, you have to get your friends to pay $30 for the book. When you launch a program, you have to get people to pay $1,000 for your program. When you launch a TEDx talk and say, "Hey, share this free 18-minute video," yeah, sure, or share this 60-second snippet, sure, people love that, and so it amplifies your brand significantly. And so, if you want to do a TEDx talk in the next 3 to 6 months, or you want to land one, I encourage you to take the challenge and learn more about it, and click the QR code. And this is kind of, and my process is guaranteed. And, if you do the work and you follow my methodology, you will land a TEDx talk. And just one of my clients, she's only in grade 11 and 17, and her TEDx talk is happening this Saturday. Like, she's crazy. Saturday. So now I'm helping. And great. She landed her talk, quickly enough within our 6 months TEDx Master program that she's now, I'm helping her with the presentation. I'm designing it. I'm working on the slides, the storytelling, and giving her that so that she'll be ready to kill it on Saturday. So I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah.
So if you're on this call, if you did not just hear that, okay, because us as adults get all this baggage in the way of us. Say it one more time. How old is she that's doing this call?
She's 17 in grade 11. So,
17, 11th grade, TEDx this weekend. Come on.
Yeah.
Y'all have a story to tell. Okay. So come join us in the challenge. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of interaction. You kind of can see the energy Bobby and I hold. So we'll keep you all moving along throughout the whole entire week. Bobby, this has been a blast. We want to thank you all that have been on live with us one last time. Scan that before we bounce off here. Go to by Bobby, or go to Bobby's profile, and he has everything you need on there. Those joining us, we'll see you in a week and a couple days, but we thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us today.